Oh, I've just completely destroyed a roast. And now I'm kind of like a bit lethargic. Just absolutely destroyed a roast dinner. Can't complain. There's a lot of other things to complain about. How are you, Will?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I just ate some snacks, so I'm ready for a podcast.
That like dinner snacks.
Yeah, well, Erin, it's my birthday tomorrow, but Erin's working, so we did presents on Friday, and she brought me loads of jelly beans. So I've basically been like sustaining myself one jelly bean at a time all over the weekend, and I feel extremely sick now. But I think it's a bed of my own making, so I can't be mad.
That sounds like an ad I would see on Facebook that says like all of your nutrition you need for the day in this jelly bean. £20 a month will send you jelly beans.
Yeah, it does actually. Yeah.
You see, like what was like there's ones that's just like here's powder that you turn into a drink.
Well, Erin gets that as well. She gets Huel, which is
that's the big one.
But she only gets the bars. She doesn't get the actual. Because we tried the drink one and it kind of tastes like ass.
Yeah, it was like you read it online and it's like tired of eating food, and then straight away I'm like no, but whatever.
Yeah,
and then it's like you can replace all of your meals with powdered drinks. And I'm like, that sounds fucking horrible.
No, but I kind of get it, right? Because if I could, on the days where I'm like, I don't want to cook, instead of say eating an entire bag of Doritos and calling it a day, if I could have a shake, which is all my nutrition, right? I think that's a good idea.
Like if you're gonna
it just tastes like shit.
Yeah, if you're gonna eat shit anyway, it might as well have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's like I feel like it's advertised not as like a gourmet thing, but it's like you really want to replace your meals with this. Look how convenient it is, and I'm like, no, it's nice. Yeah. It's nice to eat.
So you could have some powder, or you could have a burger.
Yeah, just turn the burger into powder.
Oh, actually, I'm quite excited for tomorrow because on my Tesco shop I've put on some cheesy croquettes, and I also put on some toffee apple cider. I'm like, yes.
By cheesy croquettes. Sorry, go for it.
Go on.
I was just gonna say, is that just like cheesy hash browns kind of thing, like a cheesy croquette?
Kinda, yeah.
Because not to piss on your bonfire. I bought something similar from Aldi like the other week, and it was kind of horrible.
I was going to say I'm going to give it a try. I don't know if it's good or not, but
I was really
different.
I was really disappointed, right? Because I just saw them in like the freezer aisle. It was like here's potato with cheese in the middle. I'm like fucking awesome. I'll have some of those. And I just
booted up OBS and I was like hovering the start streaming button, just like I was on like autopilot there.
Yeah, time for your normal 8 p.m. stream that you do every week.
I've done that a few times. Like I play my Switch games rather than having to crank my neck to the right like a Neanderthal to look at my TV. I just bring up OBS and play them via the OBS like preview. And there's been sometimes where I've been like just watch stuff and I'm like, oh, I should go live, and I'm like, nope.
I think there's if you press the go live button, there's like a little grace period, I think, when you can quickly turn it off and it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's still like connecting. Yeah.
So
I know that if I did that though, it would still send out the notification to everyone being like, Quikwix is live playing whatever my last notification was.
Well, no, because I had that the other week when I was just in OBS trying to do a few things, right? And I was just sort of mashing buttons. It's a terrible idea, just like mashing buttons on the keypad, just seeing like what does what. And so all of a sudden the like start streaming button turns blue and says stop streaming, and I was just my face just goes, oh my god, turn it off. Turn it off.
Well, did I ever tell you one of the very first streams I ever did? It's just when I figured out how to do like raiding. I raided someone, and then it didn't. It doesn't ever tell you. Like you'd think if you raid, it would the OBS would be like, okay, he's done, sort of thing. But no, it just keeps streaming, and it just keeps streaming basically whatever the last thing. So I think I was on my end screen. But then later I came back and I was just watching some BBC drama, and somebody I heard the the ding of someone donating noise go, and I was like, "What the hell?" And then I looked over, and someone had donated and said, "Mate, you're still streaming."
You did that a couple times, right? Like you've left your stream on.
Yeah, I've since then
Yeah.
because I've just gone to bed or something.
Yeah, that kind of story and outcome can be so much worse.
Could have been a lot worse. Yeah.
I've heard of stories of people leaving their webcams on, going for a shower, coming back, and like,
yeah.
Luckily, their viewers like them and like delete the footage.
Yeah, I bet they do.
There was I can't remember. There was one streamer. It was like a fighting game streamer, but he did some other stuff. Can't remember his name for the life of me. But he was notorious because one day he thought he turned his stream off, but it stayed on, and he was just like, "Well, time to jack off!" Like immediately as soon as stream ends, and people were like, "No!"
There have been several, I think, streamers that have done stuff like that. Like, there's people who
I imagine, yeah.
The funniest one I think I saw was someone who, during their starting soon screen, didn't realise that their webcam was on. And it's like I can imagine afterwards. But
after?
Mate, you're literally lying.
Not before. Not right as you're about to start. I don't want to know that.
That's asking for it. That's like living dangerously, right? Like
maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe that's it.
What if?
The only way anything happens is if I can see that I'm live.
Welcome to the Game FourCast, everybody. We're back for another week to talk about what we've been playing and all the new news. My name is Josh, aka BottlerWorks, and I'm here with Olive Meister Will.
Hello, my name is Olive Meister or Will.
And I'm here with Quikwix Steve.
Hi, my name is Steve, and fun fact, I was the original casting choice for Mike in Magic Mike, but I declined it so I can give my boy Tatum a chance.
And Sammeh.
How do I follow Steve? I'm Sam.
You can't follow it. You got to accept that you can't follow. Should I put Steve last just so we can like let it rest?
Put me at the back of the class. Yeah.
Put you at the way at the back. What you been playing this week, Steve?
Oh, me. I have been playing a mobile game and mobile card games. That's going to be popular. I've been playing Marvel Snap.
Oh, nice.
I've also been playing Marvel Snap.
Oh, you can tag team this with them.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
This game is weird from a mobile game standpoint and a card game standpoint because it's the only monetization that I can see is cosmetics. Okay. And there is a battle. Good. There is like a paid battle pass, but you have to beat the tutorial battle pass to even access it. This game is it's very different from a normal card game. Like, the premise of it is that you have your hand, and it feels like it's not almost a card game. It's like so basic.
Yeah.
You have your hand, and there are like 3 lanes. And each turn you've got like your mana, and it's only 6 turns for this card game. And you place down your Marvel hero or villain or whatever in a lane, and it makes that like lane's number higher. And just the goal is to be in 2 out of 3 of the lanes have your number higher than the opponent.
Right.
So it's definitely very weird and basic. There are shit tons of cards for this game. But to unlock them, you have to like upgrade the cosmetic rarity of your current cards, and that increases your level to get new cards. And it's kind of, you don't get to pick what cards you're getting; it's in a set order. But it's just completely different from any card game, especially like on a mobile device. I was expecting packs and stuff, but yeah, this one's like it's interesting, but it's also, I honestly don't know with this game if I'm fighting real people. Because there's no friends list, there's no challenger, like the way to challenge like specific people, and I'm like fighting people, and I'm like, I'm need to control 2 lanes at like on turn 6. So I have like, I'm doing something, I'm fine as long as they don't put 1 card like here.
Yeah.
And every single time, I'm not sure if I'm just like 5-head gigabrain Chad, or if just people are not knowing how to like play this game properly.
It might be like if you're if this game's just come out, right, and it's full of new players, things to factor in is you're already a vet to the genre, to the whole genre, right?
Yeah, but
Also,
it doesn't really like translate other card game experience into this game though.
I think there is.
Maybe, but it just seems like you're not. It's not like, oh, you got to choose who to target. It's like, oh, just make sure that your number is bigger in this lane. There is a slight, like, some cards have some effects, which there is some strategy to play around with, but it's mostly just like make sure bigger number, better person. You know?
Yeah. I really like the look of this game, like just the aesthetics and all the art.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
What it reminds me of is so this is like ex Hearthstone people, I think, right? Isn't it? Is this like
I believe so, yeah.
The Hearthstone guy left, and now he's making this instead. And it's what it reminds me of is in the very first couple of turns. It almost reminds me of the first 6 turns of a regular Hearthstone game.
Yeah.
Where everybody's trying to get board presence, right? And then instead of the game ending in this like, oh, we're going to trade off our boards and see who comes out on top, right, with our big cards. It gets to turn 6, and then it's like, all right, who just has the better board, And that's the game.
Yes.
So it's, but I know what you mean about some people. Maybe I can't tell if it's robots or not because there's some. So the setup is like Steve said, it's 3 lanes, and over the course of the game, each lane has a location, and it'll be like Avengers HQ or something, and it'll be like on turn 6, everybody can assemble Avengers HQ. You can move anyone from the other lanes into the middle.
Oh, that's cool.
Essentially, yeah. But there'll be there's 3 of them, and as it goes, like one will reveal turn 1, one on turn 2, one on turn 3. So you're like strategizing, but you're forced to strategize on the fly a little bit. And the decks are only 20 cards, but it's all singleton. So you can kind of be consistent, but then also these locations will throw a wrench in your plans and stuff. So it's like, it feels like it's not super competitive, but there is enough there, which I quite enjoy. Like when you pull off, it's like, there's like, I've got Squirrel Girl, right? When you play her,
best character.
She puts a squirrel in every other lane. So it's like you put her in the middle one, 2 squirrels pop up in the side ones, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like turn 3, I can drop, I think it's Iron Man or one of the Iron Men. I don't know.
It's like 50.
There's a whole bunch of Marvel. Yeah, it's like 50.
Yeah.
And it's like when you play that down, it buffs, 3 other things. So it's like now I've got a really cool couple turn synergy, right off the bat. I'm like, yeah, all right, I like that. And it's just really satisfying. It reminds me of playing like a combo mage or something in Hearthstone, where you're just like, oh, if I get the right combination of like, the old mana worm and a couple of spells, right? It's like, I can build a really good early board here, and that kind of feels the same thing here.
Yeah, like there's some of my favorite cards there are some cards which are like, oh, you always draw, is it Quicksilver on turn 1?
Yeah,
he's a 1-cost card, and there's also like I'm not sure her name, but there's a card which is like 6 cost, which you always draw her on turn 6.
Yeah.
And like for your decks, you generally only want 1 6 cost because you only can play it once. Yeah,
so you can't play 2. So why would you have 2?
Yeah.
And then it seems like most of the Guardians of the Galaxy cards are, if you play them and an opponent plays something in the same lane on that turn, they get buffed up and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's like a lot of like interesting mechanics. The weird thing that throws me is that, as I said, you are unlocking them on like a progress path, and the first few it shows you what you're going to get, but now it's like it's just mystery cards, and I assume that everyone's getting the same because like I'm running into people playing the same cards.
Legends of Runeterra does something similar, right? Where you pick like a faction and then you follow along like a mini battle pass.
Yeah, but you still get random cards in those.
And you can kind of craft, and there is still packs in that. Whereas this one is just purely this pathway is the way to get it. So you'll just get it's like, I wouldn't say there are any cards that are so busted and broken. It feels like you could probably play with a deck of any 20 cards. And as long as you know what you're doing, you're probably going to be fine.
Yeah.
But it's just weird to see like this unlock path. I think I'm on like rank 60 or something, but there's like 200 plus.
Oh wow!
And it keeps going, and I'm like, wait, there's all of these are like actual cards because the variations, like the cosmetic upgrades that you can get for real money, are literally like it'll be like, oh, you get like a different
same
Quicksilver.
card, but it'll be like it's Iron Man, except he's a little pixel chibi version of Iron Man.
I was going to
Or
say,
like
I
a
remember there being
different-
like pixel stuff or something.
yeah, or it'll just be like a different artist's. You know, they'll all be inspired from a run of that character in the comics, and then it'll be like,
Right.
oh, it's
Yeah.
Iron Man again, but when this guy did it, sort of thing. And I quite like that. I really enjoy it.
I do enjoy it. Yeah, it just seems like it's so good where it's not. There's no pay to win other than the battle. Like once I finish like the first tutorial battle pass, now it's like, oh, there's a battle pass with Miles Morales.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is
Spider-Man?
£10, £9, which
It's
is
something
a bit,
ridiculous.
It's a bit much. Yeah,
And you can unlock, and it does like unlock Miles Morales. And I'm like, I don't know if that is like the only way to unlock that card, or if he'll be like further on in the battle pass as well.
yeah.
That I'm a bit iffy on. But other than that, yeah, it's so refreshing to be like, oh, it's a card game that's not trying to nickel and dime me.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
is there anything that stands out specifically as like egregious? Because I remember seeing a news story a while ago when this was in closed beta or closed alpha, where people were saying the monetization was fucking horrible for this game, and they gutted it and completely changed a whole bunch. So
This feels like it depends, right? Because I'm quite far down. I'm at level 133 now, and I'm getting cards, and I'm like, oh, that's neat, but I haven't changed my card,
Yeah, I haven't
my
changed the deck.
deck since like I don't know the start, basically like rank 10 or something.
Yeah.
So I haven't unlocked anything like, and I'm not really. There's a couple cards where I'm like, oh, that'd be nice to have, you know, but I haven't seen anything that's like, oh, what the fuck, that's busted. How does he do that? And that's bullshit. And it's weird because it's like if they do put something super broken down at the end of this really, really long account progression thing, then that kind of sucks. But also I don't know. It's because I think it's just launched. Everyone's at the same spot, right? So I'm not really seeing anything crazy that I'm like,
it hasn't been out long at
all.
all. It's literally just come out. I'm reading this here, and it looks like they completely went back on it. But at one point in the beta, they just had they had new cards locked behind ridiculous loot boxes, basically.
So I'm glad they changed that. But yeah, as we'll say, I haven't changed my deck much at all, other than like when it's like there's like a quest for like use this specific card in your deck, and then it's like, oh, okay, I just make a new deck quickly.
Yeah. But it's I think it's really neat. I don't know if this is like a long-term stick with it kind of thing. But it also the games are so fast, even if like there's quite a lot of RNG, it feels very Hearthstone in that regard, where, you know, because you don't know what locations are coming up, and then it'll be like, oh, turn 3, it'll flip over and it'll be like, put a card from your hand on the battlefield, and from them it'll grab the Hulk, which is like power 12, and it's like, oh, okay, and it'll pull, you know, fucking Squirrel Girl out of my hand, and she won't even get a like on reveal effect, and it's like, oh, okay, well, he's won that lane, sort of thing. But even that is like, if you can write off a lane and just be like, okay, well, I've got the other two, so it doesn't matter. It's not like Hearthstone where it's like, oh, he lucked into a really good card and now he's won. It's like, well, he's won that lane, but I've got these other two.
Yeah, you can still save the other lanes. Yeah.
Do you know why this makes me so sad?
Where's that?
Do you know another card game that had 3 different essentially lanes?
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
Okay, yeah,
was
but
really good.
That lasted an hour, and this lasts like
That's what I
3
mean.
minutes total.
Like the whole. Well, okay, yeah, those games did last a while, but
This is
the
Artifact,
whole
right?
reason-
This is Artifact.
yeah, Artifact. The whole reason I loved that game was because you were playing like a game within a game of like, oh well, I've just lost that board, so
yeah.
fuck it, I no longer think about it. These two it is, boys.
Yeah, I think it's a really good idea. And it's like, even when you do get royally screwed by RNG, it's like the games are 6 turns and they last about 2.5 minutes. Something, you know, not even that sometimes. And it's like you'll just be like, oh, all right. Well,
That's why fighting games are so good. If you get an utter thrashing, it lasts 3 minutes.
Yeah,
and then it's done. And there's something great about that, I think.
Actually, there's also another mechanic which I just remembered about. I never use it though. Is if you think you're gonna win, like
Oh
there's like
yeah.
a rank, you can kind of bet ranked points to be like, I
What?
think I'm gonna win.
Yeah, the snapping part of this is throughout the game, it's like at the top there's a big number 1, right?
Yeah.
And that
Mhm.
doubles on the last turn. And at any point during the game, you can just be like, "No, he's got me. I'm backing out." And you'll back out, but you'll only lose 1 point, right? And then on
Mhm.
the last turn, it doubles to 2 without any input, right? So if you think you've got it, you can see it through to the end. But if you're like, "No, I think he's got me here. You know, the cards haven't gone where I've wanted."
Yeah.
You can just back out. But at any time, if you're super confident, you
Yeah.
can tap the top bit and it'll double
Oh
the
my
current
god!
rank
It's
that
like
it's on.
that's it's like poker.
And
yeah,
apparent-
and then in the last round, it doubles again.
That's
So-
that's all. I love that.
And
That's amazing.
And both of you can do it. So you can double it to 2, they can double it to 4, and then on the last round it doubles to 8, which is like a whole rank in one game. And it's happened to me a
Oh.
couple times both ways where I've been like, I've got this guy, and like, oh no, he pulled out. Whatever, fuck.
I've
oh,
never,
no,
I've never,
lost the whole rank.
it's crazy because that's such a cool mechanic, but I've never thought about it for any game other than like poker.
Yeah, it's
Like, yeah,
cool,
you
and
can-
it makes you because sometimes it's like the guy will snap, and then I'll be there like, no,
Yeah,
I've
you
I've got
liar.
this guy. I've
You
no
liar.
way I'm letting him get away with that. Yeah, I'm coming for this guy. It's fucking great.
Oh,
It's
that's
such a
cool.
good
That's
mechanic.
great because, like, put that in all of these games. Add
Yeah,
because it's just another
but-
level of like what do you call it? Like psychology gaming, like mental gaming.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
I love it. I love that stuff. Like mind games.
Yeah. it's great. I think I really like this game.
Yeah.
I don't know because it's sometimes I always get burnt out by something like like Rune Terror where it's not like you can get screwed in this game by not drawing the cards you need. Like it still has
Yeah.
a mana system, right? So if you just draw all 6 cost cards or 5 and 6s, it's like, oh, I just can't go on turn 3, right? But
Yeah.
and you'd think that would be really bad from like especially when it's all about just getting that early game advantage. You'd think that would be awful from like a tempo kind of perspective. But it's like, again, it's like, oh,
It's
he got the
far away,
1
though.
extra card in that lane, but it's like, I can play around that, I
Yeah.
can just, I can either drop that lane or I can just like sit on it and be like, okay, well, he's won that lane for now, but if I just drop a huge cost later on, like I can just blow him out of that lane, no problem.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's yeah, I don't know. I just think it's really clever.
I've got this.
the
I've
more
got
I
this,
talk about it,
yeah.
I think it's
I've got this all installed on my phone. Just haven't booted it yet. I was
Yeah,
thinking. I woke up the other morning. I wasn't quite ready to get up, and I was like, I know it's there. I could just boot this, but I had that thought of like, if I boot this now in bed, I'm just not going to get up for like 3 or 4 hours. I need to get up.
Yeah.
So I think I will boot this at some point because I'm more interested now that you've mentioned that snap mechanic. I didn't know that was in. I think that's amazing. I love that sort of idea.
Yeah.
Of that bluff element.
But that's another thing where Steve's talking about, I can't tell if it's real players, right? And there's a couple times where some guy will like completely whiff all his like Steve said, there's cool mechanics where you can put things down where it's like, if you play another card here next turn, that'll buff it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that
Yeah.
lane, if you play cards sequentially, but then there are other cards where it's like, if your opponent plays a card opposite you in this lane, that gets buffed. So there's like fun little mind games where it's like, well, he thinks I'm gonna, because I've got my card down, so he thinks I'm gonna play in that lane, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna play it in a different lane. And it's stuff like that. But then like sometimes people will miss all of those. They'll have like no board presence. I'm winning every lane, and they'll be like, turn 4 snap, I'm ready for this. And I'm like, really? Are you
Yeah.
you sure,
Yeah.
dude? Because you're not. There'll be times where it's like a location will flip, and there'll be like dud locations where it'll be like at the end of every turn, this guy, you all your characters get -1 in this lane, right? And it ticks up. So some
Mhm.
guy will stack this with like 4 people, then it'll flip, and they'll just start losing like 4 points a turn. And it's like, I don't even have to touch that because he's on like -20 on that lane. I don't have to do anything. I haven't
Yeah.
wasted any cards or anything. And then they'll be like, snap, let's go, boy. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, you haven't got this. I'm
That-
sorry.
That might be bots then. That's
Yeah,
normally
yeah.
normally the key way of working it out is like if they do things that are bad or bad plays, they're just like it could just be a bad player, right? But
Mhm.
normally
Yeah,
the key giveaways, they do things that make literally no sense.
Yes.
Like
It goes beyond being like bad at the game or not reading. It'll be like a card. There was one location that's like, if you play something here, it gets destroyed. So the idea is you can only move things already on the board into that location. And some guy will be like, slap his card down, it instantly gets destroyed. Snap time. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Now's my time to shine.
yeah. And I'm like, you've just fluffed every drop so far. What are you doing?
It's always like, again, going off what I said, where it's like when you're playing Fortnite and we're like, are these like bots? We think these are bots. And then one will start shooting at you and then he'll just stop and crouch in a field. And it's like, oh, okay, you are a bot. Like you are not a real player. You're doing things that make no sense. You can just tell.
Yeah.
Sick. Did either of you two have anything you want to, like, closing words? What do you think, Steve?
Not the one thing that throws me in this game is that you've got like a profile and stuff, but there's no like friend or like challenge system yet.
Yeah,
which is why I'm a bit.
Oh, that's
extra,
a shame.
Who are these bots?
Yeah.
I would like to see that, and also I don't like this. Would just be like a fun game to have on PC as well. I don't know, especially with the monetization. It's not like aggressive mobile monetization, as far as I can tell.
I was googling it a minute ago, and there was a Steam link. Is it not on Steam, or is it coming soon to Steam? It's on Steam.
Oh, there you go.
It's on Steam.
Early access.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder if you can play against friends on Steam.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
I will be downloading that now.
Yeah, early access on Steam came out 18th, which I assume is the same day the mobile version launched. There you go.
I did not realise that.
There you go.
It's just crazy because I read the same stories you did about like, oh, this monetization is going to be ass, and I'd kind of like, I hadn't written it off, but I was like, nah, it's gonna be bad, but whatever, I'll give it a go. I like card games, and it's funny booting this up, and I haven't. It feels. I'm not going to say it feels like super generous or whatever because it's a digital card game. It's not, but I haven't felt pressured to spend money a single time. I've got a big stack of the premium currency that you normally have to pay for. Like, how much would this cost me in real money? I've got £9 worth of premium currency already, and I haven't spent a penny. So it seems really good.
That's like, again, when all the stories were breaking about how the monetization was awful, right? It's like there's always so much stuff to play that it doesn't take much for me to be like, okay, that's fine. That goes on the back burner, or just I never play it or whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
Because as soon as monetization was bad, I was like, oh, that's a shame. Guess I'll play something else instead.
Yeah.
But yeah, if word of mouth is good, then I'll definitely.
It's funny because I forgot about it, and then you said like, oh, my phone just downloaded it.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, sick, that's out. All right.
We were saying how the Google Play Store, you can register interest for stuff that's not out.
Yeah,
and if you want, as soon as it does come out, you can just get your phone to download it. So we were just playing Hunt Showdown together, and my phone just said, "Oh yeah, here's Marvel Snap." I was like, okay, cool, that's fine, cool. We'll move on from that then. What have you been doing this week, Sam?
I've I've not really got a lot to add.
Yeah.
I'm continuing the raiding. It's going well. I got Ethel loot this week, but that sometimes just be how it be.
That just be how it do.
But we are the one thing of raiding. It's nice to see our clear speeds are getting faster and faster.
Yeah.
Like week 1, it took us 6 hours to do the main raid and the 3 side raids.
Mm-hmm.
And then week 2, it took us like 5.5 hours.
Yeah.
And yesterday, it took us 4.5 hours to clear the whole lot.
Oh wow!
So we are like speeding up. Like obviously, there's gear increases.
Yeah.
But also, people got a little bit annoyed at me because I wasn't inspecting people. So, a couple of the old shitters got through.
Yeah.
But I think the big issue isn't like gear so much as there are people that just don't look up tactics and don't listen.
Yeah.
And when you do both of those things, I can't help you.
Yeah. Just retail players.
Like, you're refusing to listen to what I say, and you haven't gone and looked it up on your own. Therefore, you're just dying to obvious stuff.
Yeah.
But I can't help you because you refuse to listen. So basically, the only way to filter that out is to be brutal and say, like, what gear have you got? Because if
You
you've
have
got
to be,
gear,
yeah.
that means you've managed to kill the bosses before. And if you killed the bosses before, chances are you know what you're doing.
Wasn't Wrath of the Lich King when they started, not officially, but you started getting add-ons for gear score? People saying like, no, your gear score's
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. I've had to download that, and I
Yeah.
didn't want to because I didn't want to be that guy, which is like 4K gear score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are like doing their heroic dungeon runs, which you were able to do from day one, right? You hit level cap, and then you can do heroic versions of the dungeons that are just at level cap, and you can clear it in green questing gear. It is easy,
Yeah.
and people are like 3.5k gear score required. And for me, I'm taking people with like 3.3 to raids.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Yeah.
like, if you join Discord and listen to me, I don't care. Just
yeah.
listen
Yeah.
to me. We will kill it.
That's
Like,
worth a lot. That's worth a lot more than good gear half the time. Just
Yeah.
someone that's willing to listen and actually make changes when you wipe
But like
and stuff like that.
For example, our group, we're all 4K now. We're at 4K gear
Yeah.
score, and the average people want for raids is like 3.5.
Right. So you're
So
way
we're
over.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah, we're well over, but it's like I don't want to be that guy because I see that as part of the problem.
Yeah.
But there are some people that are just so like,
Well,
just
ultimately,
help yourself, man.
I
Help
always-
yourself.
I always see I know a lot of people like abuse gear score, but I always saw it as just like you could if you could there was like a minimum bar you could set, right? And it's like this person has grind this much, so they kind of know what they're doing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
yeah.
Like it doesn't, obviously showing up and listening is better, but having high enough gear score shows that somebody has shown up and listened to someone at some point and got
Yeah.
some gear.
Yeah.
Like
Either that or just having the achievements for finishing
Yeah,
it. Like, do you
yeah.
have the
Yeah.
gear score? You don't, but you have all the achievements. You've done it before. You should know
Yeah.
how it operates. You would hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would hope, but sometimes that's what you've got to do. You've got to hope.
So, my question to you is, and
Yeah.
I think this is right. Pre-patch for retail is this week, right, or next week?
Mm-hmm.
Are you all hopping over?
We've talked about retail as a game.
Yeah.
None of us have said anything about getting together to play pre-patch. Now, I'm going to play the expansion, and I've already been informed that I'm probably going to be poked to do some dungeons, and I do want to see what it's like. I want to see how it is. But they're not releasing the new race straight
Yeah.
away. They're going to do it as an event, which is kind of cool, but it means that you have even less time.
Wait,
to-
is that event not in the pre-patch then?
The pre-patch is it's coming out this Tuesday for America, Wednesday for Europe. It is literally just going to be the base changes. The new like Drakfir and Evoker class are coming out on the 15th of November. So people are thinking that's when they're going to start doing like the event
Right.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, you don't even get the full duration to level up, see if you like it.
Right. Okay. I just remember Steve kept saying that it was on the 26th. I thought maybe
Yeah.
it's like Domino's, right? If one of you
We
hops
only
over,
found out.
Can I be
Yeah.
honest? I hate how these guys look.
oh, they look. I think they look awful.
Yeah.
All I wanted was a non-humanoid model. I know it would have been absolutely wacky, but if I can be a bear, I can be a dragon. You know what I mean? Stop making them look like humans. They don't need to be humanoid.
For me, I think
people can't draw sexy bears, Sam.
they absolutely can.
They probably can. Yeah.
I can show you the world.
I think for me, the reason I dislike these dragons so much is I think it's the dragon models themselves. You can see them here if you're watching. They really show the age of the game's engine and graphics. I think there's just something about the way they look. They look.
It's the De Niro effect again.
You reckon?
It keeps coming up, but it's yeah. It's like they can put all the clean textures and stuff, but that engine is still under there somewhere,
Yeah.
and it's really old at this point.
I look at this and I know it's way better than a PS2 game, But it reminds me of a PS2 game, man.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, I think it's like, even though they don't, like, you can put on, like, when you're making, because I got into beta, I can try it. You can, when you're making your dragon, you can kind of like have armor on your dragon. Like, it's not the in-game armor. You don't see the in-game armor while you're on your dragon form.
Yeah.
But they still have made them humanoid for reasons. I have, like, probably for like emotes and stuff. But it's definitely weird. Like, they didn't need to like have them.
We've had this discussion already, but it's just, after an expansion seen as negative, how do we save it? Oh, PS2 dragons. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
But I will be playing it. But Classic WoW comes first, which I'm only logging on to do raids. I've even finished all my dailies and all my rep grinds and everything. So it's log on, raid with the boys, have a good time, get the fuck out.
Are you nearly done? Do you think? Like, how much is left besides just logging on for, like you say, just for raids?
I mean, gear-wise, I've still got a lot of gear to go.
Yeah, so, but are you the type of person that will see that through to the end, or will you just be like, you know what? I don't want to raid anymore.
I think I'll probably be one of the last people, because I am the raid lead.
Right.
So I am the person that's logging on half an hour before raid time, getting the recruitment message going, getting the randos in.
Yeah.
And like, I'm perfectly fine to do that.
Because that's how it was for me when I play these sorts of things, where I'm happy to do the grind and I find it enjoyable until one day something just flicks in my brain.
No, I get it. A switch goes.
And as soon as that switch goes, nothing has changed. But as soon as that switch goes, I'm not having fun anymore, and I'm done. And I just I turn it off.
We're getting to the point where, because it's so smooth at the moment. Like, our 10-mans, we walk in, and like we're gonna start trying to do the Undying achievement, which is clear all bosses without anyone dying at all during all encounters. Because we're at the point where we just walk in, kill it all, walk out. Good job, everyone.
Yeah.
But it's a group event, at this point.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm enjoying more. It's just because I think our 10-mans is under 2 hours now.
Yeah.
Because it is so much easier, because you need less people, but the less people we have, the more it's us, and we're all fucking geared to the teeth.
Yeah.
Communicating. So
yeah.
That's cool though. That's cool. Did you have anything else you want to sort of add about your WoW stuff, or did you want to pass the ball over?
No, I mean, I'm enjoying WoW. It's great fun.
Have they said yet if they're going to go past Wrath? Because I feel like there's no way.
I want Cataclysm.
I think you might be in the minority there.
I know. I argue with people a lot. I'm like, just wait for Cataclysm, boys. Best expansion, and everyone is like, "Are you high?"
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
I want Cataclysm, or I want them to be brave and do something new.
Yeah.
Oh, like old school RuneScape.
Yeah.
Yes. Keep Wrath there for people that want it and love it, because if you take it away, God help you.
Yeah.
But give them an option of separate servers, just embark on this new story with us.
Yeah. So for anyone that's not aware of how it works, I think the way old school RuneScape does it is really good. The old school RuneScape is based on, I think, the 2007 version of the game, because that was the earliest backup they had. And what they do is, if they put new features in this game, but they poll it with the entire paying player base before they add anything, and say, like, look, here's what we're thinking of doing. What do you think of this? Do you like this? Do you hate this? And I think it has to pass with like 60 or 70%.
75% or whatever.
Yeah, it's really high. Yeah.
Well, that feeling when...
Right.
Yeah.
I do think they have sent out, like, they did this for Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King as well. They have already sent out like surveys being like, would you be interested in a Cataclysm expansion and all of that? But they, it's not like RuneScape where they're like post the results and stuff. It's more for internal use.
I actually think that the more I think about it, I almost think they might have to go that route, right? Because
they don't have to do anything.
they don't have to. No one has to do anything.
Here's the thing: to touch on the RuneScape and to give a little bit more insight, is what caused that was what's called EOE, which is EOC, sorry, the evolution of combat.
Yes, yeah.
Because they swapped from the left click a mob, I hit, you hit, really old school combat to more of an action RPG, button pressing, 1, 2, 3, combos.
WoW combat. Let's just yeah.
And that's what divided the player base. Whereas WoW had story and map changes.
Oh, I see.
Like Cataclysm being the big one, like literally zones appeared and disappeared and changed forever from Cataclysm onwards. So that's why I think that's a good point for it for similar reasons.
I like the idea of like they make a new cinematic for World of Warcraft Classic Cataclysm, and Deathwing comes down, and before he does anything, he's just like decapitated or something, and then it's just like bam, new different expansion.
I'd worry about the voting thing just because as time has gone on, it's realised that it was really important at the time to save RuneScape.
Yeah.
But as more and more time has gone on, it's like, look, the devs now know what they're doing. Just let them get on with it. Stop.
Yeah.
Because the player base is just fighting each other now.
Yeah. That's a good. Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting discussion, though. I think
that's what I want them to do. I want them to be brave and do that, but I don't think they will.
No,
because I think it takes some huge balls to do that. To be honest,
well, it's like you were saying, RuneScape fell into this hole where they changed stuff on a system-wide level, right? Whereas for me personally, a lot of WoW's problems are just like kind of story and like the mechanics are fine. They just need to steer the game in a different direction to what they're currently doing to get me back, I think.
Yeah.
Which doesn't need a whole wipe of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And a different direction to fix.
Yeah.
I'll take either.
I agree.
But that's the two options I would like them to go down. And I know the Cata route is not a popular one, but I know that making their own story would not be a popular one either.
Well, they might just.
I hope they do it.
They might just keep releasing the classic expansions as they are, and just accept the fact that they know they get less popular. But that doesn't matter because the work is done, basically, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's going to be less popular, but it's still way easier than making a whole new expansion from scratch for classic. So,
do you think they could just go around again? Just.
I think they will. I think they will.
I think they will. They'll just go back to classic WoW and start.
They already have. Apparently, they are planning to do it in cycles anyway. Like classic WoW, eventually they'll do like fresh start servers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think they've already done a load of fresh start servers, right? I'm not sure though. Sam's more likely to know.
What game are we talking about?
For classic WoW. Well,
oh no, he says that RuneScape's just had that.
Just done a ton of new servers.
Yeah, RuneScape's just done fresh start. Wow. It's called RuneScape Fresh Start, just to confuse it even more.
Oh my god, that's pretty funny.
I think they'll just go round. In all honesty,
see, I think they'll just catch up quicker and quicker and quicker until eventually all the players are just playing Dragonflight.
That's how they're going to get everybody to play Dragonflight on Dragon.
Well, that's
it's Dragonflight
right?
Classic, but it's like, whoa, hold on, there's my live character.
If it catches up, you'd be sat there like, well, I don't want to play WoD again, and I don't want to play Shadowlands again. And
yeah, I think they must know they've got a couple stinkers coming up, right? So they must be like, what if we just went?
Yeah,
but I reckon even if they're stinkers, you can still get nostalgic for that, right? You can be like, remember when Warlords of Draenor was shit? Oh, I'll check that out again. That'll be funny. And then you buy it, and now you're a customer again, even though it's shit.
they're sort of damned if they do, damned if they don't, though, right? Because nobody's going to play Wrath forever, so it's like they have to keep this train rolling one way or the other, whether it's to start around at Classic again or keep going up to retail.
If if Cataclysm comes out in Classic, that's your sign that they're just going to go through all of them. I think. If they're going to stop anywhere, it would be Wrath. Does not. Yeah.
I think Mop. I think Mop is the one.
That's the one, because Cata divides people, right? But Cataclysm did include an abundance of quality of life features. That people are now realizing. Oh, like I get this in the next expansion, and I get this.
Dungeon Finder was Wrath, right?
Yeah, but they removed that in Wrath of the Lich King for this one.
Oh, right. But do people want that in Classic?
Dungeon Finder was Cata, I'm pretty sure.
No, Dungeon Finder was end of Wrath of the Lich King, which they said they specifically didn't want to add that.
Right, okay.
Yeah, because I remember I started with Wrath, and it had, I remember specifically there was some sort of Dungeon Finder or something.
Right.
So, yeah.
But yeah, there's more than enough dividing going on.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
It's a weird time. What a weird time to be a WoW player. I don't know. It's funny. I think it's really interesting.
I think it's kind of weird, but at the very least, I like the way it's. I don't think it's confusing. At least not yet. It's just like, here's classic Wrath, which I think kind of speaks for itself. Yeah. It's like on the same like, you know, Battle.net client, you've got the whole Overwatch thing that people were getting confused about, and it would almost be like it would always be poetic to have people getting confused about Overwatch and WoW at the same time, not knowing what's what.
It does feel, though, it must suck for the people making, maybe not Dragonflight, I don't know, maybe they're super happy about how Dragonflight is going, but like people haven't. This is too, popular opinion. This is too rough. Expansions in a row, and to have a not insignificant part of your player base just sort of say like, no, we like the old stuff was better, you guys actually have made this product worse as it's gone forward, and you can't go back, sort of thing. I think that must be insane pressure on these people making Dragonflight.
I just think you look at this expansion, and I'm not sure if it's just me, but the whole theme and premise just looks boring.
To me, I think this expansion is targeted at the current player base who are like still there and are like the talent trees. I personally I preferred the 6 choices, but I know there's so many people who are like, oh, actually, I was an XL player and I'm excited that they're bringing the talent trees back. Like, there's no hype new features, but I think this expansion is specifically targeted towards the players who are like, I'm still on WoW, but I just want to be better. And then like this is like their like ground zero expansion, especially with the talent trees and some of it, removing the borrowed power stuff. And then the next expansion will be this is the shiny features one. Everyone come back when maybe like Blizzard aren't going through yet another lawsuit or whatever they're going for.
So Dragonflight to me kind of feels like it's got the looks of an expansion that I'll completely write off, and I'll be like, it doesn't appeal to me. And then I'll ask someone about it in like 2 years, and I'll be like, Dragonflight wasn't that shit? And they'll be like, no man, Dragonflight was fucking awesome. Like all the talent trees were sick and the story was great, but I just write it off because I'm just. Because it's just the marketing's just not great.
It's always easier to look back and be like, "Wow, what a fun time!"
Yeah.
Because what? Well,
you only remember the good stuff, don't you?
Yeah, we played during lockdown. Yeah. What was that expansion? Battle for Azeroth.
Battle for Azeroth at the end.
We played the end of BFA.
Yeah, we played right at the end, and it was like
so fun.
But when I remember playing the start, all I remember is, wow, this expansion is shit. You know?
Yeah. It was definitely, the end of BFA was so fun because just like everyone was like around. We were all doing like the final raid of the expansion. We did the final boss on Heroic. That's what I want with WoW, is that feeling of, oh, my friends are playing and we can just do dungeons whenever. And I know that we're not going to get that because people are busy now and with like
I'm
You know,
working 9 to 5.
Oh, the
Work
world
and
is
other games.
back. Lockdowns are not a thing
Can't we have
anymore.
like another pandemic?
No, Steve, don't. We do not want to wait for another
Monkeypox.
pandemic.
You could have been great. Monkeypox. Why?
Monkey box.
Monkeypox.
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 Sounds like a pay-per-view.
It does.
I'm gonna shoo us along from World of Warcraft.
Okay.
But yeah, so the pre-patch for WoW Dragonflight is 26th. Did you say?
20. It's on Tuesday. This Tuesday when the podcast is out for Americans, and us dirty Europeans get it a day later on Wednesday.
We're not European.
We're
we voted.
on the European servers. Yeah, they need to make UK servers now because we're not in Europe.
All right, so I'm gonna move along to my thing for the week, which I'm not sure if I've really spoken to any of you about. So I don't know if you know what this is. But I played and finished Splatoon 3. So
How did that go?
I actually really enjoyed this, man. I had a great time playing this. It just came through the post. Again, I rent all my shit. So I was just playing it. And I kind of only wanted to play the single player. Because they do have quite a big single player component now. So I played through all that, and I think I've done all 3 campaigns of all 3 Splatoon games. And this is the first one where I feel like they've kind of worked out what they want to do. Because Splatoon 1 came out and it was just like, it's a multiplayer game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're just going to... I can't remember even if it had a single player. It might have something really basic.
It did have a single player.
Yeah.
I finished it and I really enjoyed
Splatoon
it.
2, it wasn't a DLC.
No, Splatoon 2 did have a single player as well, and then they added another single player expansion of more single player missions.
Yeah.
I played something single player when I played Splatoon, but I don't know what it was.
So this one is you start the single player, and it almost starts like really linear and almost like generic, which I feel like is on purpose to make you kind of think it's like the second game, which was quite linear, which is like levels.
Yeah.
And you do a few levels like that, and you do a boss, and you get like sucked down this big hole, and you land in this somewhat big map, and you have to like clean up this map as you go around. And there are still levels that you jump into and do, but it's kind of like, it reminds me of like a world map, like a Mario game world map. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Peach's Castle. Whatever.
Yeah, and you can go around and you can find secrets around there and bits like that. Secrets. And
That's been playing too much Splatoon.
Yeah, secrets in the map. But yeah, and as you do these levels, they're like there are different types. So some of them will be proper like levels, start to finish, go through, shoot some enemies, do some puzzles, and then get to the end, level complete. Other ones will be almost like trials, like target practice, where it chucks a whole bunch of different targets at you and gives you a specific weapon and says like go do this and do that. Other ones will there's like a new item in this, which is like it's like a chameleon suit, and you can zip around from point to point, and it's almost like really like really cool platforming levels where you can zip around and do bits like that. It's just really fun. I still don't know if there's enough here to like warrant it. Yeah, if you played Splatoon 2, it's very, very similar.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like, yeah, I don't think there's really enough here. I did play the multiplayer as well. I got absolutely fucking destroyed online by
the only people left are really good Splatoon.
Oh my god!
At this
So
point.
I don't know if there's just like no, like people complaining about
no MMR.
There's no MMR, and people. There's a big thing in the Call of Duty landscape about people complaining about skill-based matchmaking.
Oh, it's doing my nut in.
Yeah, so we don't want skill-based matchmaking because I want to get 20 kills and dunk on some random dude, right?
Yeah, for my YouTube video. Yeah.
That was my experience with this. but I was the guy getting farmed. Like it was so rough. I must have played about 10, 12 matches, like a good little session. And I'd had enough. I was like, I'm getting absolutely farmed. I can't get many kills. I mean, I'm getting kills, but I'm just getting destroyed. I tried a bunch of different weapons.
Question though, were you playing the casual mode or the ranked mode?
I tried both.
Okay.
And just my experience wasn't bad. It's just I think I suck at this game, and I'm not willing to learn.
Did you give the Salmon run a try, which that is their PvE co-op?
No,
mode?
I didn't try that, and I played. I think it was in Splatoon 2, right?
Splatoon 2 had it, but it was limited time. In Splatoon 3, it's permanent.
Yeah, so I didn't try it. Again, it got to a point where after I got dunked so hard, I was like, I'm done.
Like,
you
I hate
took
this
the
game.
cart out, you licked it once to try see the taste, and then you sent it back.
Yeah, so it is still fun though, and I think the best thing you can say about this game is I really don't think there's anything else like it that exists.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm surprised that there's nothing else like it, because this game, what is it? It sold like 3.6 million copies in Japan on Open.
Yeah.
And it's like the fastest selling game in Japan
yeah.
ever. Like, this game is ridiculously popular, but no one is copying it, which seems crazy to me. Not that I'm saying people should copy it right away, but it's weird that no one is, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I heard a Splatoon story this week. It's kind of funny. Apparently, there was a quite a degenerate VTuber, which tells you where the story is going to go.
Yeah, great.
Where they had a Splatoon tournament where on Twitch they or YouTube, I think, they chroma keyed out the color of their own ink, but not safe for work videos underneath. So as you hit the floor, and it was like a tournament of like who's gonna last the longest before getting banned.
Gee, and that was they did that live on Twitch.
They did it live on Twitch and YouTube.
Why?
I don't know. I just found it so funny. And since you brought it, I was not going to bring it up, but since
Like
you brought
getting banned speed run, basically.
yeah, basically. But
I think it's funny how Nintendo makes the most like on the surface kid friendly games, but then you go and even one level deeper than just like that, and you just get annihilated by like career, Splatoon players or Smash players or Mario Kart or whatever it happens to be. What is that? It's so weird.
It's a fine line between little Timmy getting this game for his birthday and playing, then you play a few more matches and you get paired with some like 35-year-old dude that plays this for 40 hours a week.
like FaZe Clan Splatoon team where they're just like, get crushed. There's like some 7-year-old on the other team. Yeah.
I think that literally is it, because like if you think of COD, you just think, oh, it's going to be all the sweaty teenagers. But for Splatoon, you've got like that mix of Nintendo hardcore diehard fans and 7-year-olds.
It's kind of like if you only have a Switch, right? And there are people that only own one console.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, is this your competitive game? Like, what else does the Switch have?
There's Fortnite on and Apex.
So, yeah.
Oh, yes, that's true, yeah. But Warzone isn't on Switch, right? I think Apex might be.
Apex is for sure. I don't think Warzone is.
But then
those games also run like
I was going to say,
on the console, whereas Splatoon probably.
Yeah, but if you don't know any better.
True.
I was going to say, I think Apex is on Switch in like massive air quotes because it runs at like 10 frames a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you coming off of that like performance stuff, you were just saying this game runs great. It looks great and it runs really well. It still does that weird like gyro aiming, which I think is better than just analog aiming, to be honest. But because I'm not used to it, it's kind of weird. I remember playing a lot of Splatoon 2, and there was a period after playing for a while where it just clicked, and then you're like snapping shots by breaking your wrists. But like I said, I wasn't prepared to get to that point with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I've got to say about it, really. What I will say is, for the single player story, the ending was surprisingly awesome. It had like a really cool set piece that I wasn't ready for. And I was like, this is really cool. So yeah, Splatoon 3. It was one of the ones I wanted to just like tick off my list, right? Like I've now played and finished Splatoon, so I can just say I'm done with that. So
Send it back and never use it again until the DLC comes out and you're like, oh, they're adding shark girls.
Yeah, that'll be the next one. They added the octopi people?
The Octolings.
Octopi people's better. And now it's like, sharks are the new Splatoon thing. But yeah, this game's aesthetic is great as well. It's just everything's kind of like, I don't know how you would even describe it. It's like all brands, but like fake hip brands. Does that make sense?
Everything's like a Formula 1 car, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all like
it's very hipster. Yeah, I think that would be a good way.
Well, it's like you start a game and all the 4 squids are in a line and like 2 of them are dabbing, wearing like Supreme logo shirts, but it's like squid language. It's like, what is going on? I love it. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing.
So how's the soundtrack for this one? Because Splatoon classically, really, really good soundtrack.
Yes, really, really good soundtrack. I've already added a few of the songs from this to my set list. It's all like, I don't even know how you would describe it. You know, all I can call it really is just Splatoon lyrics. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh shit, this song slaps, and you show it to someone, and it's just like meow 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 or some shit, and they're like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "No, give it a minute. It's really good. let it grow on you." Yeah, it's more stuff like that, but yeah, really really good soundtrack as well. Just really great looking game. Like everything, sound, design, look. It's a great game.
I was gonna say, I think that's when Nintendo usually nails that at the park is aesthetic, like. If you think of like Animal Crossing, Splatoon, like it's something that people can like build fashion around, like build identities around almost.
Yes.
Is I'm gonna have like this theme for my life or my workspace or something.
I think in the first Splatoon game they straight away nailed like the whole ink like aesthetic and the way that it all works. And now I think 3 games in, just the look and the way the characters act and the clothing and the way they act and all that stuff, they've now got that nailed down as well. So
yeah,
they know.
You just need to put it on PC.
Yeah, if they put this on PC, I'll like non-ironically play this every day.
I mean,
like, I love it
because we talk about Splatoon and I'm like, man, I would love to play Splatoon with you guys as like a team. I think that'd be really fun. And then it's like, then I gotta fuck out for the game. I got to fuck out for the Nintendo Prime. We got to organize a night where we all get on our Switches at the same time. I'm like, just put it on PC.
If Nintendo were like once a month, we're putting one of our games on PC, they would own the internet.
Yeah,
once a month. They've only got like 6 games.
They just rotate.
They'll be done by Christmas.
They got 6 games they rotate and just increase the sequel number every time they look back around.
Exactly. But I think they would absolutely dominate the internet, and it's a shame they don't do that.
Yeah, I mean,
especially like the older games as well that no one you know.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why people emulate
all of their games to be on that wasn't shit.
Some kind of virtual console.
Why not?
If only.
I get behind that.
I'll bring this up very quickly. This is slightly off topic, but it's like, just where are all the Nintendo games? Why can't I play them all? And it's like, I think it was you, Steve, the other day. You were like, "Oh wow, they've put Mario Party 1 and 2 on their virtual console."
Yeah,
and like that's it. And I was like, where is everything else?
The crazy thing about that is like, I'm like, I bet they don't even have it online for those.
Of course they don't.
On the virtual console, I'm like,
of course they don't.
They googled play N64 games online, and they ripped the ROM from some other website to put on.
They grabbed the best emulator they could see on Pirate Bay or something.
ROM Paradise or whatever. But yeah, we'll move on from this. But that's what I've been playing this week. So, last little quick thing is I'm back on Overwatch 2 and I'm having a great time. I don't want to talk anymore about it. That's
I will take no questions.
Yeah, I will take no questions right now. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to
wow, this Overwatch relationship is
it's a really abusive, man. I need help. We have a question for the week. Wait, look at the nice graphic that I found. This is from Ron Roy. This was a YouTube comment. So they were asking about Blood Bowl and tabletop stuff, which I know in some older podcasts we talked about Blood Bowl and stuff. A few of you here have a history with that. But
very sordid history.
Yes. But the part of the question that I liked was if you could replicate the game with a team of 11 characters, who would you pick? So basically, I think you summarized it better, Will, which was create a fantasy football team of whatever characters you want. I'll go first because I think my one it's quite simple, but I think it would be awesome. Just some kind of team comprised of Capcom characters. I just love Capcom stuff.
I thought you'd go Street Fighter.
Capcom versus American football. I could see that.
It would be Dead or Alive beach volleyball.
Well, that's your one, is it? No, I just think Capcom hold so many properties that I love dearly. It's not just like I don't really care for fantasy football or tabletop. Just take those characters and put them in everything. That's what I want. I want Dante in a tennis game. I want Leon S. Kennedy playing snooker. Like, just take those characters and do things with them. That's my answer. It's Capcom stuff. What about you guys?
I don't know. It's weird because there's like so many games. Like I'm like, oh, which characters would I want more like spotlight for? But so many games have like crossovers right now. Like you said, even Capcom. You said Leon. I've been playing against Leon in Dead by Daylight recently, a lot. Yeah. And I don't know. Like it's like I could say like Pokemon, but then they're basically all in Smash anyway. It's a weird.
Here's the way I've interpreted this question, right? It's basically just kind of like, what's your favorite series?
Basically.
And because the initial thing for me is just like Final Fantasy.
I was going to say
just
Final Fantasy.
Instantly in my head was like, that's how I answer that question.
Yeah, just take a whole bunch of Final Fantasy characters and put them in, you know, what you want.
I think, no, you got to go step up and go Kingdom Hearts. That way you get Disney
You
and
get
Final
everything,
Fantasy.
Just say Smash Bros.
No, I think I'll stick with Final Fantasy. Thanks.
You don't want Goofy playing fantasy football? What's wrong with you?
Gosh.
Always great, but oh god.
Just Goofy standing there being like, oh gosh, and he gets fucking tackled to the floor brutally.
Okay, well, I did the homework for this question, so I think as I was thinking, like, who's going to be my like linebackers, right? And I think we've got like Doom Guy, Master Chief.
Oh fuck
that's all I really. Marcus Phoenix. No, wait, Coltrane. Obviously, he's Thrash Ball. He would know how to play American football easily. He probably does that on his off days. That's all I really got.
Well, this team is
nice research. Nice
Well, you've got 4 out of 11 people required. I think your team is already unbeatable.
Yeah. I was thinking Waka from Blitz because he knows Blitzball. So I'm sure he would learn the rules fairly quickly. I thought about who would be a good what it's not. You know, in Blood Bowl, it's like thrower, right, and catcher and stuff. So I thought a good thrower would be BT from Titanfall, because obviously there's that famous scene where throw the pilot.
Do you trust me?
Yeah. Well, he'd be a great addition. Then I'd need some kind of defense, but I that's where I ran out. You've
already got like
I thought about this walking.
What about Tychus from StarCraft, just in his big fucking mech suit?
Oh, that's a good. Yeah.
I'd like to remind people that in Blood Bowl, this is a Warhammer universe.
Not anymore. It's not.
So my point is like really like souped up superhumans still isn't enough, you know. You're going against,
it's kind of par for the course, right? Yeah.
No, Sam,
how about
he's also got a force field and he's invincible and you can't hurt him.
How about then, like the most overpowered thing, 11 rabbits?
That's unstoppable.
They'd be the ball.
yeah. Whatever. My team is whatever Will's team is, but they're rabid variations of them.
Phoenix.
Again, rabid Doom Guy.
I think Rayman would be a sick Blood Bowl character, man.
You'd never catch him, would you?
He's got the hands.
He's got the hands. Yeah. How would you tackle that? He's just a series of geometric shapes.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Because if you grab his hand, can he literally just be like, "All right, fuck you," and walk away, and just leave you holding a hand? Like, how does that work?
Funnily enough, they've never answered that in Rayman canon.
Yeah, they're too scared.
Maybe they will in this DLC.
They're too scared. They're too scared.
New rabbits.
Bowl.
You know a rabbit's gonna run off with one of his hands.
Yeah, we finally get what we've always wanted: the Rayman anatomy broken down and explained.
There was even one Rayman game where you start and you don't have your hands.
That's fucked up.
Oh, he's right. Yeah, he's right. Yeah. So that does imply he can just walk off and forget his hands. Yeah.
Isn't
horrifying?
Isn't that the first one, the like 2D one, the 2D platformer one? I think
No, I think this is one of the 3D ones.
I know the 2D one is. I think maybe you start with your hands, but you can't punch. It's like, how have you gotten this far, not being able to just like swing an arm?
I hate that in platform where they're like, "Oh yeah, you starting again, so you've forgotten all the techniques that you've learned from the previous game." I'm like,
oh, it's
Metroid, isn't it?
literally Rayman 1. There is no
Yeah.
previous game. Can't hate on Metroid though. That's not fair. It's perfect design. Metroid's perfect.
Yeah.
Never got over you not liking Dread. Never healed from that. I really like Dread.
Just not a good game, mate. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. We'll argue about that later.
But yeah, me and Sam played Blood Bowl a little while back. We were in a league between a bunch of people that I worked with, and I roped Sam in, and then I stopped playing, and Sam kept going. Is it still going? Are you still in there?
Yeah, literally played my league game yesterday.
You sound a little bit dead inside when you said yeah. Like yeah, it's still
Blood Bowl
going.
3 is meant to be coming out at some point, right?
No, Blood Bowl 3 takes the piss. That's a game where they're like, oh yeah, it's coming out soon. Here's our beta, and you play the beta, and you're like, please tell me this game is not coming out soon. Because Blood Bowl 2 is already a hot mess of
pretty jank, yeah.
Spaghetti code and.
Well, this is always promising. So when a game has a planned release date of just 2022, when we're nearly in November, that's not coming out in 2022.
I don't want it to come out. I'm sorry, but I like Blood Bowl 2 and Blood Bowl enough that I'm like, please just release it so that it actually works. Don't release it and then I pick it up and it's hot garbage.
Yeah,
because it kills it for me.
It's sort of weird, right? As well, because they're making Blood Bowl 3, but there's no Blood Bowl 3 physical version, is there? I don't think.
Is there a Blood Bowl 2 physical version? I
think there was a re-release. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that.
What I believe is happening is there is a physical version for Blood Bowl 3, but I think they've just rebranded it to be like Blood Bowl 2022 or something like that.
Right.
Like,
okay.
Rather than 1, 2, or 3 for the physical game, I think they've rebranded it.
Right.
Like that. But you can play the new teams and stuff. Physically.
Yeah.
Tabletop. That's the word I'm after.
Yeah. I know you've mentioned it before that Blood Bowl 3 was a bit of a mess. And that was a while ago, so it's good to see that nothing's changed.
But the beta come out, and then everyone in the group that's in my league was like, "Cool, that means like Blood Bowl 3 soon." I start thinking about it.
Yeah.
I saw one game and went, "We still got another year,
Yeah.
lads. Don't worry about it."
Oh god, put it back in the oven. It's not ready.
When it's worse than the current game we have, why would I bother swapping over?
Yeah.
I kind of secretly love that, though, in like a fucked up way. When a game sequel comes out and it's like worse than the one before it in every way, it's kind of like watching a car crash, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like one thing if they come out with less content or something, but it's like more polished. But yeah, it doesn't look like that's the case.
Like,
it's just kind of a mess.
Yeah.
You realise Blood Bowl 2 was crap, so you started from scratch and somehow came out worse.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, dear.
thank you for the question. Again, if anyone else wants to ask any questions, you can leave them in the comments for the YouTube video, or you can email them in at thegameforecast@gmail.com. Thank you very much for the question. Should we do some news? We've got some news. There's less news stories this week compared to usual, but I think each one is, I don't know, they're kinda loaded. So we'll see where we get with it. So we'll start with the first one here. We were talking about it a little bit earlier. So we'll just go straight into this one. You've got brand new trailer for Final Fantasy 16. This dropped 3 days ago.
Yeah, it kind of got a little bit leaked beforehand because there was like some article written about it. But
Yeah.
everything, like, I was like, Final Fantasy 16, I'm like, 15 wasn't that interesting. Every single trailer they release, I'm just like, oh, maybe I really want to play this now.
I mean,
Like-
it's just it's Final Fantasy going back to ye old medieval magic.
which they've not done since like 9, right?
It's been a while. It's been future
Oh, I way
stuff
prefer.
for so long.
Yeah, I way prefer like steampunk Final Fantasy than weird sci-fi magic Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it's like, although a lot of them weren't even like future stuff. You had like 15 had the car, and
yeah.
like 10 was straight up sci-fi stuff. 11 was not future, but it was still kind of like.
11 was the MMO, right?
No,
Yeah.
yeah, 11
I'm
was
thinking of 12. Sorry, yeah, 11 was the
Yeah.
MMO.
12 I've
12,
heard
12
referred to-
was old knights in armor.
It was,
but
but it
did
was
have
al-
airships and stuff.
but it was also like it wasn't medieval kind of thing. It was like desert and
It
I-
almost looked like post-apocalypse, didn't
yeah,
it?
like
I've
sandy
heard 12
dunes and
referred to as like, if you think of it as a Star Wars movie, it's like 10 out of 10.
oh really?
But if you think of it as like a Final Fantasy game, it's like, it's okay. But like, if you think of it as like almost like a Star Wars franchise game, it's great.
I love 12, but I know that 12
12
is
was great.
12
But
is
12
really
was very political.
12 was very political and it's very divisive. Not everyone likes 12.
Yeah.
Because the combat is a bit weird as well. It's like
Mm.
it's like baby's first programming. The combat in 12.
Well, it was the first time they moved away from just standard like speed or ATB, right?
Yeah, it used to be.
They
Yeah.
were like, okay, let's get a bit fluid. Let's get 3D.
Well, it's called is it the Gambit system in 12?
Yeah.
And it was like
Yeah.
you set up commands where it was like if health is less than 50%, cast cure and stuff.
Yeah,
and
it was
stuff
kind of
like
like it's kind of coding, right?
Yes, it's baby's first if statement, literally,
Yeah.
like in that game. Like if they don't have any debuffs, then use poison on them and like shit like that.
I think the thing for me that is the sign of a good Final Fantasy game is how memorable are the characters, and I'm not just talking about the main characters, like the side characters. Like they like Final Fantasy 12 I can remember like 3, maybe 4 out of the 6 main party members, and the last 2 I'm like, I have no clue.
Yeah, I think it's
Fran is a series favorite, so
Yeah.
I wonder
As far
why.
as that's concerned.
The sexy bunny girl is a
There's-
favorite.
Yeah, no shit. But yeah, so going back to the thing, yeah, you had 13 was straight up sci-fi, like flying cars and trains and
Yeah, that starts on like a monorail, doesn't it?
yeah, it's straight up
A
future,
space monorail or something.
straight up
yeah.
future. And then what else you got? 14 is more MMO stuff, and then yeah, 15 was all the cars. That's all I remember about 15 is the fucking car.
I love the Final Fantasies. One of the things that I like about them is like the summons, the primals, the Eidolon system. They're all the same, but they're
Yeah.
just different names. And this game seems to be like the sole focus is the iconic like Ifrit, Shiva, Garuda, all
Yes,
of those.
yeah, put them
Which
front
I'm like,
and center.
yes.
It was the
That's what
samurai
I love.
guy.
Gilgamesh.
Odin?
it depends what game. It could be
Yo-
Odin.
Yojimbo,
could be Yojimbo.
Yojimbo, yeah,
Yojimbo, that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was cool.
Or I think.
I had nothing else to add than that.
Oh no! It's like this trailer and what they've shown so far is like, oh, here's Ifrit, here's Shiva. Obviously, they're like the main ones, right? But if they're doing this whole summon story, right, they've got to put the weirder, small ones in as well. I would hope. Just like,
yeah.
I mean,
Like
they
what? Like
put
who?
Garuda in it.
well, Garuda's a main one.
Garuda's
Nope.
kind of gone main series.
She
I
has-
think
she
since
has now, from 14.
15.
Yeah.
Right,
16.
yeah. It's in 14, and that is it.
She's in 15 though, right? As well.
I think so.
I haven't played 15, but like there was a Final Fantasy 14, 15 crossover where there was like
Yeah, okay. There was a Final Fantasy 14 event in Final Fantasy 15. Okay, yes.
I know that Garuda is one of the main like not antagonists, but one of the main summons you fight in the main story of 14. And 14 is very popular these days. So I would argue that that's somewhat pushed Garuda more into the spotlight than fucking Alexander the Castle.
Here's the thing,
stuff like that.
You take a step back, motherfucker. But firstly, it's like, is this for the people that play the MMO, or is this for Final Fantasy players? Because we want to see, like, Yojimbo or Doom Train. You know what I mean? Like, that's the ones we want to see.
Is Doom Train a summon?
It is in
FF8,
yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Is I think this game will have its super serious story of like, this man is Ifrit, this lady is Garuda, War of the Lands, whatever. But it's still a game, right? I still think you'll be able to do some side quests and maybe see some guy that is Doom Train, maybe like in a corner. Like,
I'll Google Doom Train. You can't just say the word Doom Train.
Oh mate, he was the best thing to come out of FF8.
Isn't that the guy from Overwatch?
Although also,
I was going to say that. Yeah,
you got Tonbury King in FF8 as well.
Yeah.
FF8 had like the most weird random summons.
Oh, Doom Train is sick.
Oh, now I've got to look it up.
But my issue is for me, obviously, this is going to be an action RPG. So people that like your Dark Souls.
Oh fuck,
Dark
that's cool.
Souls style combat are gonna love this game because it's all about like movement and attacking at the right time rather than just button mashing.
They've made a Final Fantasy game for me.
Is it though? Because they said that about 15, and
No,
15
if you
was
look at the
kind of
trailers,
let me. Okay, so
it's all about like parry timings and stuff like that.
We've got it on screen. We've got it on screen now. You can see the gameplay. It's still not going to be Devil May Cry 5. I accept that, but it's the closest it's been to an action RPG. They are proper leaning into it.
Okay.
So I even think, from what I remember, this is an older news thing to do with the game, but I think you only have one character on screen at a time. Like, you don't have a party running around. I think
I'm okay with that. That party stuff. I mean, I'm going off. The last one I played was 15, and the combat was easily the weakest part of 15.
Yeah, which is a shame because on paper it should be really cool. Like 4 dudes doing combos off each other and this, that, and the other. But it just ends up being kind of... I don't know, it felt weird, the combat in 15. I think that's the best way I would put it. Just
felt very clunky. But then everyone says 7 Remake had good combat. So
yeah. As someone that hates action RPG combat, like, I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm... what am I going to do? Not play a Final Fantasy game?
Are you like sad they're moving? They've basically just dropped ATB at this point.
Here's the thing: as long as they keep releasing side games, because like they brought out 15 and then they brought out World of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
So I still got my fix. And World of Final Fantasy for a Final Fantasy fan was fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a hard sell for people outside that sphere, like chibi anime. Like Pokemon style Final Fantasy game, where you stack on top of each other's heads to battle. Like, that's a hard sell. But for me, that game was fantastic.
Oh, I think
stuck to the roots.
I think what they've done is, obviously Final Fantasy is now leaning towards this more action-oriented style gameplay, but they've set everything up so that if someone says, "Oh, what about my turn-based combat?" you can point to probably like 3 or 4 other Square Enix games that are recent that have the gameplay you want. It's not Final Fantasy. It's like, it's Bravely Default or Octopath Traveler.
Point to FF14 to some degree because that is a it's although it's an MMO, it is very like press the button.
Yeah, but you've got to move your character out of like bad stuff and movement timings. I'm not sure.
I do still think of it. I think I'm always Steve. I do think of it as like MMO combat as opposed to like turn-based combat. Like it's
no, but if when people compare MMOs, FF14 is very much on the side of like the turn-based and action when you think of like the new ones. You know what I mean? Like New World and all of that.
Most people's main complaint about FF14 compared to like World of Warcraft and stuff is that the global cooldown, as in the time between your actions, is a lot longer than World of Warcraft, which slows down the pace of the game.
which it doesn't when you get your actual skills. But
it doesn't. But for a new player hopping in, it does. Someone fresh that's playing
it's a slow start.
Yeah, because by the time you start getting your intermediate stuff and shit like that, you're probably like 50, 60 hours in. And you're in enough at that point to hang around and start again.
No, you're probably level 50 or 60. You're not 50 hours in.
I'd argue that that's how long it takes for your first character in FF14 to get to that level, because you've got to do so much story stuff.
No.
It's been a while. It's been a very long time since I've actually done that.
Even pre A Realm Reborn changes, it didn't take that long.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. But still, I still think as an entry player, that point stands. But yeah, so I think
16 looking good. No new information on release date, right? Or did we get
summer 2023.
That's right, yeah.
Which is fine. They've also come out and said with this trailer that the game is basically finished. I think they might have said that it is finished. It's just they need half a year of polish bug fixing.
I think that is very applaudable for
good stance to take.
Yeah, because other games are like leaving it to the last minute, rushing, and they're like, "No, we're basically done. We just need to do final polishes."
I think this is normal. You just don't normally get told it.
Yeah, but like other games, it seems like they're day one patches because there's stuff that's obviously buggy or broken, or like you hear like with the review copies that it's like, oh yeah, this is broken, but they said it's going to be fixed on launch and stuff. And
this game will have day one patch. Every game has day one patches.
It does, but I do have more faith that with the director.
Was it Yoshi P?
Yeah, Yoshi P, who's the Final Fantasy 14, like kind of saved that game.
The man that literally saved Final Fantasy 14. Yeah,
he's got such a good reputation. For having like his shit together and like making sure what he puts out is quality, and if he doesn't put out quality, he apologizes, which is so refreshing in this day and age where other companies are like, no, like silent, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry that our game is so popular that you can't play it. I have free stuff, know.
Well, I think it's like obviously so many people make these games, right? It's like you can't always attribute it just to one person, but I think it's obviously not all him, but I do think it is very important to have one solid person at the helm that knows what way they want to steer the ship. Basically, that was not to like deviate, but Street Fighter was in a weird place for ages, because of just like leadership problems and management problems that were just like making weird decisions for the game, and now Street Fighter's looking way better because it's all under new management. So
yeah,
it's important to have someone that knows what they want
and will put up like a good front Bayonetta.
Yeah. But yeah, so new trailer for FF16 looks really cool. This trailer it's a story trailer, so a little bit of gameplay, but it's mainly just people chatting,
introducing characters and stuff.
Yeah, there's like 4 different what would you call them? Like
regions,
regions, yeah, probably regions with their own capitals, I would think. And it looks like it'll be. It's always kind of a similar thing, right? But it looks like it'll be a globe-trotting story of just going around and doing stuff. But yeah, so that's really cool. Move on from that one. Next one you've got is there was a Silent Hill event called. The whole thing was called the Silent Hill Transmission. It was like 45 minutes long.
This was funny because they said it was going to be. They said it was going to be a live stream, and then like 5 minutes before it was meant to start, there was just like, 45 minutes up on YouTube.
It's almost poetic, right? Like Konami, this company that kind of said like, fuck you to video games. We're not doing that right now. We don't care anymore. Silent Hill, we don't care. And they're like return to games and being like, oh look, we are making Silent Hill. They just they fuck everything up in terms of the live stream. It's like they've forgotten how to do game reveals and stuff like that. I thought that was really funny. But yeah, so for any fan of horror games, we're eating pretty well right now. There's tons of new stuff.
I was gonna say, didn't they announce like 4 or 5 games?
I think there's 4 games and 1 movie.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll go through a few of these, but it's always like, again, because Konami being Konami, they had all the weird shit with Kojima and the Metal Gear franchise, and I know Kojima he's not perfect, but they've done a lot of kind of weird stuff. Do any of you know anything about like Konami and what they've done? Because I can kind of give a bit of backstory if you don't know.
I do not know.
So some of the weird stuff they did. So I think it's kind of unanimously known that Kojima was taking too long for MGS5.
Yeah.
But they got to the point where I think they went like, money valve, stop. Game comes out now, and it wasn't finished, but they made it. They made him release it, and then there was some weird stuff about like a lot of himself and his staff were getting like locked out of certain rooms.
Oh, I remember this story.
Yeah, so in the Konami headquarters, they were like getting locked out of certain rooms, and people were getting like transferred to different dev teams, but like places they didn't want to go, and it was all really weird. And I think
it just seems like both sides were kind of, Kojima taking too long to make a game. That's fine. At some point, you have to have people step in and rein him in.
Yeah,
but then they did it in just the worst, the weirdest way possible. Yeah, we're just like, what if we just didn't let him back in the building one day? Yeah. we'll sort the rest out from there.
It's a really shitty couple that should have broken up a long time ago.
Yeah,
yeah, that's a really good analogy. Yeah.
But yeah, you had that. There was a whole bunch of other stuff as well in regards to, I think it was Metal Gear Solid 3. A whole bunch of assets leaked of characters from that game, but really high res. And people were like, oh fuck, Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. But it was for a pachinko machine.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And people were up in arms about that. And then it's just other stuff like just mishandling their own properties. Metal Gear Survive, that really weird survival game spin-off of Metal Gear Solid 5, where it was what was the opening of Metal Gear Solid 5? What if a wormhole opened and sucked in the people, and then they had to fight crystal zombies? It's so fucking weird. It's so weird. So yeah, people basically, shady towards Konami. But now they've come out of seemingly nowhere, I think, and just announced a whole bunch of Silent Hill stuff.
So what was actually announced? Yeah.
So you've got, I'm not sure what kind of order this page is in, but you've got this one here. This is Silent Hill F. This is a Silent Hill game, I think, based in 1960 Japan.
Okay.
And all we have so far is like this trailer, which is just like the setting and a bit of kind of like the vibe of the game. I'll skip through a little bit so you can see a bit more, but it looks really good. There's like a whole bunch of weird flowers. Like
this was like the leak, right? Where there was like petals and flowers with the leak.
Possibly, yeah. It's like, this bit in particular is like really gross, where you can see like, what's that thing called where people don't like holes in things?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like all that
trichophobia or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Trichophobia.
So yeah, you've got that, and then you've got this. Show this bit quick if you're watching.
What? Okay, this
creepy
is
girl face.
Maybe this is too broad a question. What is Silent Hill? Why are people so fussed about it?
Silent Hill it's a horror franchise from late
F's
PS1, early PS2. Yeah, F's in chat. And it's like, I think the closest comparison to around that time is like a less action-packed Resident Evil.
Right. Okay.
More atmospheric, less campy than Resident Evil. No Jill sandwiches and shit like that. But the earlier games in particular, 1 and 2 and 3, people really like.
Yeah.
And it's just really good atmosphere, really good stories. Nothing else really like it at the time, I think. Again, there's been good horror stuff since then, obviously, but it sticks in a lot of people's minds. People are very nostalgic for the earlier Silent Hill games, which still carries the franchise today. All this nostalgia, to the point where, you got this one. This is the one in 1960 Japan. You had. I scroll to the next one. So as I was saying about Silent Hill 2 being one of the very popular ones, they're remaking the second Silent Hill.
Yeah.
So if I skip forward this bit, there's one of the most famous scenes of that game is the character James in the bathroom at the start. So they've shown that bit off here in this trailer to get people kind of like pumped up. It looks cool. Made by Bloober Team.
Which I know people are not the biggest fan.
People are no. So they've got some. I think they got some shitty takes. Their games kind of average. I think. Like
I played
the medium.
It was Layers of Fear, right? Is Bloober Team?
Yeah, Layers of Fear. Layers of Fear 2. The medium. Kind of these like okay games. They're alright.
Yeah.
Would you give a Silent Hill 2 remake to a different team? Probably. I guess Bloober Team might have been cheaper. I don't know this.
I guess they have the horror chops and they can make games. So because it's like the people who made Silent Hill, right? They're not going to be still at Konami. So
oh no, they're long gone.
They're going to be long gone. Yeah. So they need someone to come in.
Oh, that reminds me. That was another thing that Konami did that everyone absolutely hated. They did a remake package of the older Silent Hill games. I think it was Silent Hill 2 and 3.
Yeah.
They remastered, and the remasters were fucking awful. You know, we were talking earlier about how like when a sequel comes out, but somehow it's worse than the original in every way. It was a remaster that was just technically broken. I mean, like on a technical level, like a bunch of graphics were fucked and
yeah.
And then everyone was like, "Oh yeah, it's Konami. They just don't care."
Yeah,
basically. But yes, this Silent Hill 2 remake is getting mixed reactions. I think it looks okay. I don't have a lot of love for the second game anyway. Not because I don't like it, but just because I don't have that nostalgia. I didn't play it when it came out. I played it a lot later.
Yeah, and there's Pyramid Head.
Yeah, Pyramid Head.
I played him in Dead by Daylight, so now he's my favourite.
So Pyramid Head is probably the most iconic character, right? From Silent Hill.
That's the only one I recognise.
Yeah.
Oh,
that originated from this game. So you had that. Let's scroll down. The other ones are not quite as massive as those two. That's the whole show. Yeah, so there were a couple others. I won't show the videos, but there was
there was a weird social media one, right?
Yeah, they had one where it was like I can only imagine it as like, what are those games that you play, Steve? They're like Ashes of something.
Oh, like the Quarry, the Dark Pictures anthology.
I think they're doing a thing like that where it's they portray it as like a social media thing, but it'll probably be like just get people together and vote on the outcome because it's like Twitch integration kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they're doing a project like that, and there was another one that was just, I think it just had a name, and it was just like it showed a beach, and that's another project. So, and the movie was they're doing a movie based on Silent Hill 2. So
they're remaking Silent Hill 2 and then making a movie about it.
I think it's not maybe like a proper movie, but it's just like they're doing. Something based around that universe.
There were some
that all seems very vague.
Yeah, let me find it. Hang on. Silent Hill reveals.
So, are you excited for this?
I don't know.
I'm excited to check it out. I think like it's got enough there that I'm like, I'm interested to see what it's all about for me. Like you didn't look at it and be like, oh, all this looks total utter dog shit. I was like, oh, it looks like it could be a fun game. We'll have to see as it gets closer.
So Townfall is the one. Yeah, there's the beach. Made Annapurna. So they're all right. They did. I played Stray the other week. That was okay. So there's not much on that one. We saw Ascension. This is the weird social media one. So it's like hype beast. Oh my god!
Yeah, this one was like they said it was like you'll be able to like it'll be
Hype beast.
People can control how the game goes via like chat and stuff.
Yeah,
It seems like it's Twitch bait almost. I'm not sure, but we're not sure what it's like, right?
I can't get past that person being called Hype Beast in the trailer. Like XX Sephiroth 69 telling you to watch out behind you.
yeah.
But yeah, you had that, and then Return to Silent Hill. Christoph Gans, the director of the first movie, is making a third movie. So because there's two movies, I think. Yes, there's two movies. The guy who did the first one is doing a third one. That's
okay.
Yep. So yeah, like I was saying, I didn't watch this live because my mindset.
No one did.
Well, it's just like, oh yeah, because it leaked. But again, it's just like it's Konami. It'll be shit. They don't care. I'm still like kind of tepid. Like I'll wait for a lot of this stuff to come out before just getting my hopes up.
Well, I think getting excited about anything Konami is
insane.
Is a fool's game at this point. But
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all does. But that's all the new stuff that was shown there. And I said how horror fans are eating well. You also had a Resident Evil showcase.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to watch this. Yeah.
There's some good stuff here. So, going through it bit by bit, you had DLC for Resident Evil Village, i.e. Resident Evil 8.
We already knew about, right?
We did. Yeah, we did know about this. So it's called Shadows of Rose, and it comes out, I believe, on the 28th.
Yes, that is in the releases.
That's the whole showcase. So it comes out on the 28th, and it's set after the events of Village. No spoilers, even though the fucking trailer spoils the ending to Village, still blows my mind. And it's third person, which is interesting. Yeah. So what they've done is the DLC for Village is third person, and they've also made it so you can play the whole of Village now in third person over the shoulder, which is really cool.
Jesus, I can't imagine. That must be so much work. I can't even imagine.
I just imagine it's just we go to do it, or they go to do it, and it's like, oh, every animation is broken.
This whole part of the castle you can't see anything in third person. The camera just clips through a wall and never comes back. Yeah,
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But yeah, so there's that, and there's a trailer for that as well. But that's not the most interesting thing. The most interesting thing was Resident Evil Reverse. No, I'm joking. It was Resident Evil 4. But they got.
Wait, is that really coming back?
Reverse is coming back very soon as well.
It's on the 28th as well.
Yes.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about this because you've played this before. It's up on Steam for purchase right now, and it doesn't say like early access. So I assume you can purchase it and play it now.
Is Reverse the good one or the really bad one?
The really bad
one. The
one
one Josh loved.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm back out.
Okay,
I thought for a minute you were going to say
no. I'd be cheering a lot more if it was the one that I wanted.
It.
No, so Resident Evil Reverse is the reason it's got its own store page is because if you buy Village, you get access to Reverse, and it's that store page. And I assume they'll sell DLC for Reverse through its own page, which is why it's got its own page, despite you not being able to buy it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, make it a standalone thing as as
a standalone product that you have to buy something else to get. So Reverse is coming out. They've completely changed the art style.
Well, Reverse does have a separate price on the Steam. You can buy it separately.
You can buy it.
Yeah, actually, it says that, but to buy it is literally buy Resident Evil Village.
I thought it was. Yeah. Anyway,
I assume they're just hedging their bets in case this is really popular. And then they're like, oh, you can just buy it.
Which it won't be. But let me just find a better page.
So, what was the one that you liked? What was that one called?
What do you mean? Oh, that was. Oh God, why am I pulling a blank now? It
was Resident Evil 3 something, wasn't it?
It was the one that came with Resident Evil 3.
Resident Evil 3 remake. Yeah.
And that one died.
Evil 3. Oh yeah, it's...
Revelations.
No.
No, Revelations is the weird co-op thing, I think.
Oh my god, why can
was that?
Oh no, wait. Resistance.
Did it have
Resistance.
a name?
Resident Evil Resistance. Does that sound right?
And that one died, did it?
Yes.
Yeah,
No, he's right. Resident Evil Resistance. Biohazard Resistance. There you go.
Yeah, that game died. Which oh god, I love that. I loved that game. I actually loved that game.
That sounded super interesting to me because that was the asymmetrical one person's a director / horror / like DM almost, right? And the others, everyone else is like playing Resident Evil.
So Resident Evil Resistance, the thing that killed it was when it came out, the game was broken and the servers didn't work and they just didn't fix them like for months.
Yeah.
And the game died because no one can play. But yeah, that was the 1 versus 4 multiplayer game where one person, like you said, was the director and you had 4 players trying to get through maps.
So what is Reverse then?
Reverse is like best way to put it. It's just a multiplayer game. I don't want to call it team deathmatch or free for all, but it's from what I played at the time. It was like that, but occasionally you turned into flagship monsters from the Resident Evil series.
So it's like 4 humans versus 4 humans, I would assume, or something like that, and then occasionally you transform.
Yeah, you would go around.
It was like instead of kill streaks, you would turn into a monster, basically.
I'm gonna find it in this. Is it here? No, this is it. Yeah, so you can see it on the screen now. They've completely changed the art style. It had like a weird pop art style.
Yeah, I remember you playing it before. Actually,
it looked awful. It was so offensive to the eyes. It was so bright and just bizarre. And they've completely scrapped it. It still looks jank. It still looks weird.
It does still look really, yeah.
But that is officially coming out, and it's got release dates and what updates they're doing. This smells like the
Your roadmap. Nice.
This smells like the Babylon's Fall.
Yeah, I was gonna say it.
That,
Shall we guess which update is gonna not come out?
Yeah.
They're gonna cancel it.
Update 1 will come out.
Yeah.
You see that one on
Update
the one on the left that says release? It won't hit that one.
Oh, could you imagine?
Yeah, there's more coming apparently. Which it'll get update 1, but update 1 will come out in 5 months' time.
Yeah, it will get update 1. Update 2 will come out, but it will be kind of dead by then. And update 3, it will be dead. Not coming out.
Okay. Okay. I think update 2 straight up will not come out. Full stop. But yeah, so Reverse is finally coming out. Thank God, we've all been waiting so long for it. And then the actual highlight that they showed off was a ton of RE4 remake footage.
Yes.
And I'm just gonna say it, this game looks incredible. I cannot wait to play this. They showed off like more of the. What they'd shown before was Leon walking around outside the first house of the game.
Yeah.
Kind of like this stuff here. But then what they showed was him like going inside and having a look around and stuff like that. And it seemed like they were trying to show off how it's not just like a 1-for-1 remake. They're really like expanding it and doing some different stuff and some cool bits like that. But I think this looks fantastic. So you can see here he's walking around the house. But for the sake of time, I'm going to cut to a little gameplay bit.
Yeah.
Which I think is here. Where he's like, this is probably one of the most memorable parts of the game.
Where'd everybody go?
Right?
Yeah,
Bingo?
Yeah. Where's everybody going? Bingo.
Resident Evil 4 was the more actiony one, Resident Evil, right?
It's the first time they really broke into action gameplay. It's the first game that was over the shoulder.
Yeah. It wasn't quite full bonkers action like 5 was.
No. So
no, actually there were parts of 4 that were quite out there, weren't there?
4 does some stuff. I'm actually
yeah.
hesitant to say about it now because it could potentially be spoilers for people that have never played it but are now going to play this.
What is going on?
So yeah, so you can now parry with the knife. That's a new mechanic.
A
He parried with a
chainsaw?
gun there.
Yes.
He parried a chainsaw with his gun there.
It's with his knife. It's with the knife.
Yeah,
No,
with a hand.
it was with his
No,
handgun.
it looked like he did it with his pistol. Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Have a look. Come on, let's have a look.
I'm so excited for this.
It looks so good. Right, he's got his. He stabs a guy in the head. He's got his
Whips out
pistol.
his
He's got his
pistol.
pistol out. He changes to the knife. There's a prompt L1 to get knife out.
Oh, yeah, he's
boo.
right. He
That's
is
not
right.
Cool.
Yeah,
I've
that
done
isn't
it.
as cool.
He had a gun out, and now he's got a knife out. It is the knife.
My
But-
immersion.
my immersion.
But yeah, so if you
I
do,
can't accept this. Cancel Resident Evil 4.
if you do want to have a look at this, there's tons of new footage. There's a new story trailer. There's tons of new gameplay. It just
Isn't it
looks
gonna be
fucking
spoilery,
sick.
though?
No, this game is massive.
It's. I'm sorry. It's like.
That's the first scene, isn't it?
That's
The
yeah,
village
that's the
is
very
first,
yeah.
very first scene. Yeah, yeah.
It's like when people are like, "Oh, I don't want to spoil FF7 remake and tell people what happened in FF7." It's like knowing what
I
happened
guess,
in
yeah.
the older game is not
Yeah.
spoilers.
I
Knowing
get-
what
yeah.
happens in this game is because it could be different. I doubt it.
Well, but it has been a long time, right? The last place you could play this was like the Wii.
Oh, no, this game has had.
This is on like
So
PS4 and
many.
stuff. Yeah, they've okay.
Oh,
let's-
is it? Oh, okay, never mind. I
This
take it
is
back.
the one they have ran dry. This is the Skyrim of the Resident Evil.
Yeah, so that is the best way to put it. You are completely right. I'm pretty sure this is now on everything to the point where I think it's got like VR ports and shit like
what? What, you were going to say VR porn? Then?
VR ports. It's probably got that as well.
I mean,
but-
that's everywhere.
Right, you ready? Okay, GameCube, PlayStation 2, Windows, Nintendo Wii, iOS,
Oh, okay, fair
Zebo,
enough.
PlayStation 3,
What the
Xbox
fuck is
360,
Zebo?
Oculus
and
Quest 2,
Android,
What the fuck?
PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, Oculus Quest 2. That is, what is that? That's like 13 ports.
Oh wow, okay, I had no idea.
Including the best port, which was for the Zebo. For anyone who doesn't know what a Zebo, myself
I have
included,
no idea what a
that's what a
Zebo is.
Zebo is.
It's a piece of paper.
That answers none of my questions. Yeah.
Zebo is a 3G-enabled entertainment and education system from Zebo. What the fuck where
You
am
need to
I?
learn about the zombies.
Where am I?
Where am I? How did I get here? Yeah, Resident Evil 4, I think March next year. Let me see if I can find the date. It's early next year because Resident Evil games always come out.
Well,
Early in the
unless
year.
it gets delayed.
Why?
Because everything gets delayed.
No, you're doing it again.
Most games get
It'll come to
delayed.
Game Pass.
It'll come to Game Pass.
Yeah, it'll come to Game Pass as well.
It'll get
Next
delayed.
comment,
Yeah, you beat me to it.
And
March
yeah,
24th, there you go.
yeah, no, it was March. For some reason, they come out early in the year. It's just what they do. It's I think Resident Evil
RE2
2
remake did the same thing, right?
RE2 yeah, RE2 remake was March of 2019. Hang on.
I know, I believe you. You said that with real conviction.
Or the one thing I do remember, is that RE3 remake came out 1 year later. Because it was like, what the fuck? 1 year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, it's January. My bad. January 25th. And then RE3 was... that was April. Okay. A little after a year. But yeah, so... Lots of horror stuff coming out. It's good to be a horror
And
fan.
some of it is coming out this week as well.
Well, you've got We'll let you do
It'll
release in a
be-
second. Fucking calm down, Steve. You've
Yeah.
got
Shut up.
you've got all this Silent Hill and Resi stuff, and then you've also got Callisto Protocol coming out, which is December 2nd.
Yeah, Dead Space remake.
And Dead
too,
Space
right?
remake in I'm not gonna say January. I think it's early next year at some point. It's got a date, but I
Wait.
can't remember.
Callisto Protocol is the Dead Space, not Dead Space game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Dead Space is January as well, so apparently.
Yeah. So shitload of horror stuff coming out, which is good. It's really good. But yeah,
How does that happen? Like, Callisto Protocol is like, Dead Space guys are making a new Dead Space. We're super excited. And then a month later, it's like, Also, we're just remaking Dead
I mean,
Space 1. How does that happen?
That happened with Mega Man, right? They were like, we're doing Mighty Number 9. And then they were like,
but-
oh, we're also doing Mega Man 8.
Yeah, but people Dead Space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck Mighty Number 9. It's like I said, which is it's really weird. It's like all the marketing for Callisto Protocol is pretending that Dead Space is not getting remade.
Yeah,
When it is like a month after.
Yeah. It's like we're bringing back Dead Space. It's like, yeah, they're also bringing back Dead Space. I might just play Dead Space, to be honest.
It was almost that Callisto Protocol had the trailer where it said like shoot off their tentacles or whatever, and then there was a trailer for the Dead Space remake that came out like a week later with the same shot of the original version saying shoot off their limb. It's like, what is going? It's so weird. It's like,
it's so weird.
Remember this scene? Yeah, it's in the trailer for the remake over there. Everyone knows because it's there. Oh, it's so bizarre.
So weird.
Okay, do you think Callisto Protocol or the Dead Space remake is going to do better? Like, if you had to place your bets, which one do you think is going to sink and which one do you think is going to swim?
I'm going to have
that's so hard.
I'm going to have a really depressing
Dead Space
outlook.
remake is gonna swim.
Depressing outlook. They're both going to sell poorly.
No, or they might. I'm not talking sales. I'm talking gameplay. I expect the Dead Space remake to be passable to good, and I think Callisto Protocol will be passable at best. I think that game will.
But it's like if they just don't even touch Dead Space is still really good.
Dead Space
right?
is really good. Dead Space is really
Callisto
good.
Protocol is so unknown at this point. Still,
I'm looking at Callisto Protocol the same way I looked at Scorn, where I'm looking at it. I'm like, you're gonna have an aesthetic that I really like. You know, this Isaac Clarke wannabe getting crushed by grinders and eaten by monsters. Great, I love it. But your game might suck, and I'm already like mentally preparing myself for
Scorn for killing your hopes and dreams.
Basically, I'm like, I had the same thing with Scorn, where it's like, well, I know I'm gonna like the way you look. That's like a given, but I might just not like you as a game, and I'm still prepared for the reviews for Callisto Protocol to say game looks great, but it feels like a PS3 game, where it's like just a kind of average third-person shooter. So we shall see. It'll be what it'll be. End of the day, and I will be playing it, and I am excited. I'm just keeping my expectations. What do you call it? Tempering my expectations.
Yeah.
Just I don't want to get hurt. You start crying on stream.
Yeah.
But yeah, so either way, lots of cool horror stuff coming out. So, but yeah, that's all the news for the week. We said how there are only 3, but they were kind of loaded, which is good because they've lasted us till the end. So,
yep,
that's good timing, really. Steve, what's coming out this week?
Oh, we've got a few releases. I'm going to do a couple of unknowns first. But we have the Pinball Wizard is coming out on the 27th.
Wizard.
The Pinball Wizard. It was just looked like quirky enough. It's like a dungeon crawler where you play as a wizard, but it's via pinball mechanics.
Right.
I've played this.
Have you? Is it good?
This was an Apple Arcade original. Remember when that Apple did that?
Yeah. I do remember that.
I didn't like it.
Oh.
It looked quirky. I was like, oh, that's quite interesting.
God's sake,
no,
Steve.
it was interesting, but I'm not a big fan.
I like the art. Actually, it's kind of
this art style always appeals to me. It always gets me.
It's just nice. It's just
pinball.
clean.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately a genre that you can't innovate on too much.
Yeah.
You know who had a good pinball game? Metroid.
Pokemon? Oh.
Pokemon Pinball was also good.
Pinball in Metroid?
There's a Metroid pinball game.
Oh, right, okay. I thought you were going back to Dread again.
I wish.
You're like, you know what was a good game that had pinball? Metroid.
You never played Metroid Prime Pinball. It included the Rumble Pack. What? There you go. Rumble Pack included. Anyway, I'm sorry, Steve. I've completely derailed.
So many gems on the DS. I want to get my DS back.
we also have the other unknown one. It was called Army of Ruin, which looks like it's a Vampire Survivor clone. Since everyone's kind of like in a Vampire Survivor mood, this is early access, but it looks pretty like Vampire Survivor, but like good 3D graphics.
Okay, we're going 2.5D.
Yeah.
It'll get to the point where I feel like people are starting to wake up to the fact that Vampire Survivors is actually non-ironically Game of the Year.
Yeah, they'll learn.
But yeah.
I have to say, I was playing it a lot today, and I must be playing it wrong because I'm struggling to finish some of the levels.
No, it starts hard, and when you start learning some builds and getting some upgrades, it gets easier.
Way easier. Yeah.
I've gotten to the point where I'm not going to spoil stuff because I know people are playing it that are here in the chat. But I can make a run of Vampire Survivors that is completely AFK from about 2 minutes in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like you become so strong in that game through just stuff. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, we had a build months and months ago where it was AFK 10 seconds in.
I love our Vampire Survivors chat.
I want to have. I know 1.0 just came out. I want to let people play it for a bit, but I would like a proper.
We could revisit it.
I want a proper debrief of Vampire Survivors.
Yeah.
Because I have now 100%ed that game. I'm finished with 1.0.
Okay. Next we have. I'm not sure of this. I just recognize the name, but it's on Epic Games Store. It's Sins of a Solar Empire 2. I've heard Sins of a Solar Empire.
What? There's just a Sins of the Solar Empire sequel?
Yeah,
I heard about this coming out. Yeah, that's why I haven't heard of it.
That is on the 27th as well.
This is an underrated series. I was going to say, but...
yeah, this was a fantastic 4X game.
I think I used to get this game in like a box of cornflakes from the shop on disc.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. What the fuck? I had no idea this was just getting a sequel, and it's out this week.
Yep, on the 27th.
There you go.
Wow, guys, maybe spend some money on that marketing. Jesus Christ, I love the first one.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this game actually, but you said it's 4X.
4X Space Combat, I think.
Yeah.
And then on the 27th, we also have Sackboy: A Big Adventure. I'm not sure if this is a good game, one of the good Sackboys, but it's on Steam and it's releasing.
This game is amazing. I've finished this game on PS5. If you can, it's okay. If you like these sort of, you can see from these screenshots here. If you like these sorts of like 3D platformers, it's probably like a solid 7 out of 10. If you can get some buddies together and play the whole thing co-op, which you can do, it's probably like a solid 8 or 9. It's a really good game.
Is this the lad from Little Big Planet?
Yeah, so this was a PS5 launch game, which is why I've played it, because there was fucking nothing else to play when I got my PS5. Yeah.
Okay, and then also on the 27th we have Signalis, which was brought up in chat. I actually skipped this one, but apparently it looks good.
Have a look. Alex, very Ghost in the Shell.
Art style was appealing, and then I saw that one frame of gameplay.
You saw anime.
And then, not gameplay, but how it actually plays. And I was like, nope, I'm out again.
It looks like a kind of isometric game. What genre was we looking at? Action, adventure, violent, survival, horror, 3D. Okay. This looks like what's that game? Another world out of this world. On like
it looks like sci-fi Zomboid. You get.
I'm gonna look more into this.
Yeah,
I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I'll have another look at
that. On the 28th, we've covered it extensively, but we have Resident Evil Reverse and the Resident Evil 8 expansion.
Yes, Resident Evil 8 Gold.
Yeah, that's Gold Edition and the DLC and all of that.
Gold Edition comes with the launch of Reverse. It comes with the new DLC. It comes with all the patches, so the main game in third person, and it comes with new characters in Mercenaries mode, which we didn't cover earlier. But you can play as the big lady and
Oh, I saw a news story. I meant to link that to Steve specifically. But they're letting you play as Lady D in Mercenaries, except they shrunk her to normal person size.
Oh, cancelled. Bad
I
game.
thought she's.
Yeah, I knew.
I'm pretty sure she's huge. Where did you hear that?
I read that they just couldn't be bothered to redo the entire mode just for one character.
I thought
I saw news stories of it.
Oh, okay. I just thought
I could be wrong.
I thought I saw gameplay videos where she's like towering over some of the characters, but maybe not.
Maybe it's just like they just raised the camera for her. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
On the 28th as well, we have Factorio is coming out on Switch, and I wasn't sure if this was going to be like a good Switch game or not.
I mean,
Yeah, no reason not.
Yeah, or it'll run fine until suddenly it won't because your factory is fucking enormous.
Yeah, but I was like, this sort of game, I haven't played it or seen it, but I thought this might be good for Switch, but I'm not sure.
Like Factorio would be annoying on console controls.
I think it plays okay from what I've heard. Like
Yeah.
I would think the same thing, right? But apparently it runs okay.
Okay. Also on the 28th, we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Nice. I shall be
That is
playing that
getting
campaign.
its,
God, there's so much shit coming out.
Yeah. But yeah, this is coming out. If you've pre-purchased it, you could do the early access of the campaign right now. But yeah, this is the full game.
Yeah. So yeah, campaign out now. This all launched on 28th, and then mid-November is Warzone 2.
Yes. And then the final game that's coming out on the 28th is Bayonetta 3.
Oh, I'm going to be playing that as well. Oh my god, there's so much stuff. There's so much stuff coming out.
There's too much, yeah.
I mean,
Which update on the voice actor drama? It was now there's disputes from leaks saying she was offered more, but she declined it, and so
she wanted six figures from royalties or something. It's all...
something like that, and they offered her 4,000 per session, and it was 4 or 5 sessions or something. But she's saying that's a lie, but there's apparently evidence, paperwork and document. So it's a hard one to gauge. So it's not a completely written off game.
Either way, unfortunately, I assume her career in voicing games is probably over.
I doubt it's over. But
You get blacklisted like fuck. Are you kidding me? Public disputes with your employee.
Yeah.
She broke NDA. There's no way.
Yeah.
She'll get blacklisted for sure.
I was gonna say, especially if a voice actor is breaking NDA, also calling out a company that they worked for, and now also there's disputes that she might be lying, or even just a bit of a diva wanting more than
it's tricky. But multiple sources have corroborated the information that she might not have been telling the whole truth at the time.
Who can say for sure though? I think that's the moral of the story.
It's just when you break NDA and go up against your employer and whatnot, call them out. I'm just you can't be lying, right? Because that doesn't end well for you.
Yeah,
well, I think the thing with a lot of these, not just game stories, but stuff in general, is people come out with stuff wanting to cause a stir and end up making a way bigger stir than they ever thought they would.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
She's like, okay, I'm gonna do this, maybe cause a bit, cause some drama, make a few headlines, and then all of a sudden, you are the gaming story across the world for 5 days.
Yeah.
But then she did call for everyone to boycott the game, so I don't know.
Yeah. But you got to be realistic with your reach, right? You might not think that you get everyone.
I don't know if you're.
I don't know. If you're the voice of Bayo and you cause a stink.
I said last week that Bayonetta is on the same level as Lara Croft, and I stand by that statement. That reach is big.
Bayo's reach is big. She's a very well-known character.
Bayonetta's movie then, Sam? Huh?
Who would you get to play Bayo?
Angelina Jolie. Sorry.
Just get Jolie back again. Yeah.
I think she'd probably be a good Bayo though, right? Maybe
she was good in the Turtles.
I think just the issue is just age, as nasty as that sounds. Right? You probably want a
yeah.
young actress.
I was kind of thinking
Also,
the
it's
same
like
thing.
it's like, hey, Miss Jolie, we're gonna need you to be basically naked for like half of this film.
I have 100% faith that she would still nail it.
She'd do it.
Yeah.
She'd do it.
Oh yeah.
I just
She'd kill
don't
it.
see
Yeah,
it
yeah.
happen. I just don't see it happening.
Oh, now I really want that movie. It's kind of like ha cool joke, but now I'm like, actually, wait though. I've watched the shit out of a Bayo movie.
But really,
Yeah, but really.
you know.
Oh, let's
Unless
maybe Angelina, you doing much? All right, let's wrap this up then. Thank you for listening, everybody. As always, I hope you had a fun time. It's been cool doing another podcast for the week, so we're going to do our socials and we will clear off. So, as always, my name is BottlerWorks. You can find me on everything: Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, all that good stuff under that name. How about you, Will?
you can find me at Olivemeister. You know where I am.
And Steve.
Hi, I'm Quikwix without the C, and I'm on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, everywhere.
And Sam.
I'm still Sam. You can't find me, but
Still
everyone needs to go and play Persona 5 Royal. It came out yesterday on the Xbox Game Pass, and everyone needs to have played it.
It's £1 for Game Pass. Go get it. Play Persona 5. Easy peasy. Goodbye, everybody.
It's £1.
It's £1. Bye.
£1 fish. £1 fish.